Hi guys! Today is all about Valentine's Day. We're going to make the cutest little Valentine decoration you've ever seen. This will be so cute as a gift. It'll be something that you'll want for yourself to just keep and decorate with. You can even resell this. That's what I'm going to do. And most of this stuff came from the clearance sales like Hobby Lobby's 90% off on Christmas stuff, 50% off at Dollar Tree. Guys, stick around because you're really going to want to know how to make this adorable Valentine decoration. Guys, my name is Belinda and my husband is Pat, and we both love a bargain. We shop everywhere for items that we like to restore and resell, and we like to show you how we do that. So today we have Valentine projects. You don't want to miss this one. I got this crafting board at a thrift store for like $1. I know that you can get similar stuff at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to take some antiquing wax from Waverly, and I'm just going to cover the whole thing in it. Now you can take a blow dryer and you can dry stain just like you can paint. So next we're going to paint it white, and I'm going to use Snow White craft paint for this, and then I'm going to distress it with a sander. That way the stain underneath it can be seen. While that's drying, I'm going to take this heart wreath wire frame that I got at Dollar Tree for just $1.25. I'm going to cut the tag off of it, and then I'm going to go down at the very corner and I'm going to take my Stanley wire cutters and I'm going to clip it just right at the very peak. Then right where I cut it, I'm going to take some long nose pliers and I'm going to pull each side of that piece of wire back away from each other. This way both pieces of wire are pointing straight down. Then using a measuring tape, I marked the center of the wooden base. Then using a drill, I drilled a hole on each side of that mark. Then I tested it by putting the heart wire into the holes to make sure that they fit. I'm going to take this roll of white crepe paper that I got for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to open it up and I'm going to wrap this entire heart with it. But first I paint the wire white so it matches the white crepe paper. I add a little bit of hot glue to the crepe paper just to get it to stick to the wire so it will stay in place while I wrap it. And every once in a while I had to stop and add a little bit of glue just to make sure that it's laying down flat. I really like how this is turning out. It's so pretty. Who would have thought that just white crepe paper could make this heart look this pretty? I got to the end. At first I wasn't too sure how I was going to wrap it, and then that looked the best, and that's what I went with. So I glued it to the back and the crepe paper wrap was done. This sounds kind of like a song. Let's wrap. Let's get down to the crepe paper wrap. Okay, it sounded better in my head. Next, I just filled the base holes with glue and I stuck the heart wreath in it and let it set long enough to dry. Next, I took the ornaments that I got on clearance out of the package, removed 6 from each package. So 6 of the small red ones, 6 of the large red ones, and 6 of the small gold, making 18 in total. I know that I'm only showing 4 here of the large red ones, but I add 2 more later on. What I'm doing here is I'm using floral stem wire and I am sliding it onto one of the gold ornaments. Then I'm taking long nose pliers to pinch it down because I need a way to hold on to the ornament while I paint it. I painted all 6 of the gold ornaments because I just didn't think gold was a very common balloon color, nor did I think it would go with my color scheme. But I did like the red works, but I thought red and white would look really good. I used clear varnish on the white ornaments so they would have a little bit of a shine like the red ones. We all need to shine a little bit every once in a while. Okay, this next part probably took me longer than anything else I did on this project. But now don't get discouraged. I found this very relaxing to do. You know, this would be a great time to catch up on all my back videos. I have a few back videos you probably haven't seen. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm taking some waxed cotton thread, and I bought this at Hobby Lobby, and I gave, it was $1.49. And I'm tying it to each one of the ornaments. And why I'm doing this is just going to blow your mind. I'm serious. This is the cutest idea. Now, I actually got this idea from somebody else that did one during Christmas, which I just thought was so cute. The minute I seen it, I was like, I have got to make one of these for Valentine's Day. And if you haven't guessed yet, I'm making them into balloons. I know, this is the cutest idea. Just wait till you see the finished project. But let's not rush things, because part of the fun is seeing the project as it progresses. So here I am cutting 18 strings. Well, actually I'm not cutting all 18 strings at once. I think I was cutting 6 of them at a time, because it just kind of broke up the monotony. I would cut 6, put 6 on, and then cut 6 more, and so on. After I ran the string through the ornament, I added a little hot glue just to hold it in place. About 10 minutes later, and I had the strings on all 18 of them, and now they were full-fledged balloons. Okay, so they're not actually real balloons, but they sure do look like it, don't they? Next, I'm going to arrange all of the ornaments in the upper right part of the heart. This, I hope, will make them look like a bunch of balloons, and I'm going to attach them using a hot glue gun. I wanted you to see how I did this, but it took a while, so I'm going to speed it up, play a little music, and just let you sit back and watch it. First, let me tell you how I did this. Okay, I started out with the larger ornaments and I glued them on. I think I started out with like 3. I kind of separated them so that I could put some of the smaller ones in between them in the lower part of them. And I just kept doubling them up on each other. So I would glue it to the heart, then I was gluing them to each other. And I'm telling you, there was no real rhyme or reason for these. I just went crazy and just started hot gluing them and sticking them together wherever I could to make them look like they were a bunch of balloons. More than likely, you'll do a better job than I did. Although it was a little tedious, it was fun putting them up there. Although I didn't get the colors in the order I actually wanted them to be, I still think it turned out really cute. Because the strings get in the way of the glue, I think next time I will glue some on without the strings first and then attach the ones with the strings later. Next, I glued on the gnome that I wanted to be holding the balloons, but unfortunately, I didn't turn the camera where you could really see me doing this. But what I did is glued the back of his hat to the heart and his right foot to the wooden base. I wanted the left foot to stay unglued. I wanted it to be upwards so that it gave the illusion that the balloons were too heavy for him to hold on to and they were pulling him upwards. And now I needed a way to keep the strings straight enough that it actually looked like they were pulling against him. Okay, here's my solution. I'm going to drill a hole back here to add a piece of dowel rod to pull this all down on and wrap it around and glue it onto there so I have this really tight so it actually looks like he's being, pulled by the balloons. This little tool is a dowel rod cutter. If you don't have one, I highly recommend it. They are so great to have. So I cut the little piece of dowel rod, made sure that it fit in the hole, and it does, and I'm just going to glue it in. Then I'm going to wrap all of the strings around it and then glue them on. A very important step I want to share with you. These strings have to be pulled really tight because if they're not, it will not appear the balloons are pulling against him. Make sure that you go through and stretch all the strings out, and then after that I take them and I pull them in behind him and I wrap them around the dowel rod as tight as I can and then glue them on. Next, I glue his hand around the strings to make it look like he's holding on to the strings. The gnome holding the balloons, I glued his right hand up to his hat. So it looked like, the wind's blowing and it's pulling the balloons and he's having to hold on to his hat at the same time. Next, I glued down the elf that's holding the love letter. The third elf didn't come with any feet, so I decided I would make him some. So I took some pink felt and I just cut out kind of the same shape as the other elves and I glued him to the bottom of him. Next, I added glue to him and stuck him on the wooden base. It's really looking cute. Okay, next I turn it around, and because this dowel rod is exposed in the strings, so I decided that it needed to be painted white to match the heart and the base. Once I have it painted, I decided to add a heart to cover it up completely. First, I decided to paint the heart white. Now this heart came in a package that I bought at a thrift store, and it was like 50 cents for the entire package. But you can also get these at Hobby Lobby or any craft store. I have this red plaid fabric that matched the project just perfectly. So I used the heart for a pattern, and I cut out the fabric, and I used Mod Podge to glue it on. Then I glued it to the back of the project. Now there's just one thing left to do before it's finished. Okay, maybe two things left to do. So I have this spot up in the top of the heart of the hot glue that I accidentally got on there when I was gluing the balloons on. But I want to cover it, and I don't want to peel it off because it'll tear the paper. So I have these little tiny plastic hearts that I got a bag of them at the thrift store for like 50 cents. And I'm going to glue one on it because it would look really pretty right here in the center. And I'm right, it looks really pretty. So that works perfectly to cover up the hot glue spot. So I made this on the Canva program. It says, "Our love's like gnome other." And now I'm going to cut it out, and I'm going to glue it on the top of the heart. And now it's all done. That was a fun project. Oh my gosh, I love this. I think it's even prettier than I imagined it to be. So tell me in the comments, guys, what do you think about this little gnome project? You gonna try to make one? Okay guys, I'm going to take all of this stuff, well maybe not all of it, but most of it, and I'm going to make a really adorable Valentine display. I had this board left over from a previous project, so I thought I'd use it. It's partially stained, and I'm going to paint it white and then distress it. You guys know the drill. I went out and sanded it, got it all nice and distressed. It looks great, so we're ready for the next step. I'm going to paint this heart. I'm going to paint the whole thing white. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Mod Podge. Now you can use any kind of Mod Podge you want, any kind of decoupage glue, or you can just take a PVA glue like Elmer's glue or Type Bond or any of them and mix it 2 parts glue to 1 part water. I got this print off of Etsy shop, and it was one that you just download. Anyway, I'm going to put some Mod Podge on it. Oh yeah, and I print this out on just tracing paper, and it will not go through my laser, but it will go through an inkjet. It's a little bigger than it, but that's okay. I prefer it's too big than too small. Here I'm just using sandpaper to clean up the edges. This is really cute, but it's not cute enough. So what I want to do is I want to take some lace. I'm going to hot glue this all the way around. Okay, I just went on Canva and I just made the bee mine, and I downloaded it, and then I just printed it in reverse, and I just printed it on wax paper, cut it down, and I'm going to put it down on here. Now by all means, if you have a stamp, use your stamp. The tracing paper, you just need to rub on the ink area and pull the paper up, and voila, it's done. I like it. It's so cute. Okay, let's dry it a little bit. All right, I'm gonna put this aside, and I'm going to make these into some balloons. Now I don't want them to be red, but I do want them to be pink. So I'm going to paint them pink. This came from Hobby Lobby. It was $3.49. At 50 in a package. They are floral stem wires. These that I just got are a little longer than I want. So I'm going to cut it in half using just regular wire cutters. And then I attach the floral wire to the ornament. Then I add a little hot glue just to stiffen it up so it doesn't fall over. And I pinch it in place using my long nose pliers. So it looks like this. Then I paint the whole thing with a Waverly Chalk ballerina slipper paint. And I take a little bit of white ink and I just dab it on it. So what I'm trying to do is get that glow reflection from light that you will see normally on a balloon. However, it doesn't really work that great, or it's just that I'm just not, a really good painter. Now, if you want to know why I'm not removing this to paint it, it's because a lot of the time when I remove these, they end up breaking because they're just plastic. These things are extremely fragile. Okay, I've got 4 painted, so we're going to move on to the next step. And honestly, I don't actually know what I'm doing. It's just something I have in my head that I came up with. I have never done this before, so it's a new experience for me too. Now what I'm thinking of doing is cutting this dowel rod pretty small, drill a hole here. I didn't bring my tool to do a straight hole, so hopefully I drilled that straight. First, I tested the bear up against the dowel rod just to see how tall I wanted it to be. Then I marked it with a pencil and used my dowel rod cutter to cut it. Then adding a little hot glue, I put the dowel rod into the wooden base. Now here's where I take the wire and I just wrap it around the dowel rod. I use some long nose pliers to squeeze the wire on tighter. For reinforcement, I go ahead and add a little hot glue. Now that the balloons are attached, it's time to bring in a little teddy bear to hold them. I thought this was just so cute of an idea to have a teddy bear holding these little balloons. Keep watching so you can see how all of this will turn out. The little bear originally came with a red bow, but I didn't want a red bow because I was doing all this in pink with the balloons and everything. So I took some pink ribbon that I had left from some other project and I tied a bow in it and I glued it on just underneath his chin. I set the bear on the wooden base so that you cannot see the dowel rod, and I did that by putting it between his arms and legs so I could close his arms up and glue them together so it looked like he was holding the balloons, and then I would glue his legs together just so it looked like he was in a sitting position, but again, that is so that I can cover up the dowel rod. I thought it would be cute to put some pink hearts on the bottom of his feet, or paws. So I took some pink felt, cut out 2 small hearts, and glued them onto the bottom of his feet using a hot glue gun. So you don't have to do this, but I just thought it was a cute little added addition. So now it's time to glue his legs together. While I had the hot glue gun out, I decided to glue his head to the side. I thought it would look really cute just to give him this little head tilt. And also because I was going to add something else to the little bear later on, which makes it super cute. Now it was time to add that heart that we added the lace to earlier. So what I did is I put some hot glue on it and I cut a little bit of a dowel rod and I stuck it on it. I wanted the dowel rod to hang off of the end of the heart just a little bit because I'm going to drill a hole into the wood base and I'm going to stick the heart into it. Then using the heart as a pattern, I cut out a pink felt heart to glue onto the back of it. That's just to make it look a little prettier from the back. Then I glued the felt to the heart using a hot glue gun. Then I marked where I wanted the heart on the wooden base. And drilled a hole there, added a little hot glue, and put the heart in it. I found these packages of paper flowers in the wedding section at Hobby Lobby. One package is pink and one's white, and I thought they would just be adorable for this project. So I took them and I clipped the wire off the bottom of them and I glued them onto the wooden base, rotating one pink and one white and so on. I used air dry clay to fill a mold that I bought at Hobby Lobby for like 50% off, and I think it was like $2.49. So anyway, I filled up all the little heart shapes, then I let it sit overnight to dry. Okay, it is the next morning and I want to show you again how this is coming along. I just think it's so cute. Here's my hearts. I'm going to pop them all out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some folk art paint. So I mix a little bit of the burgundy paint with the ballet slipper pink paint so that I can get just a little bit darker pink shade than what the flowers are. That way the hearts will stand out a little. Okay, we've got them all painted and dried. Now I'm going to glue them in. Okay, there was one more thing I want to add, and it is these little birds. I got these little birds at a thrift store for like $1/4 a package, but I think you can also get these like at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or any of those places. But look at these, aren't they cute? So I'm going to glue one in the flowers and one sitting on the bear's arm looking up at him. Okay, I glued them in and it's all done. Now tell me what you think. Okay guys, we're getting ready to start on the third project, and this one is from a wire wreath that I had left over after Christmas. Now I think you can still get these at Dollar Tree, but I got mine at a thrift store for 50 cents. I'm going to cover this whole thing in lace, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you a really cute Valentine wreath to make. I painted the wreath white, and then I wrapped the whole thing in this lace. Next, I took a couple of cherubs that I had bought at a thrift store for 50 cents a piece, cleaned them with alcohol, and then I touched the paint up with an Inca Gold. It's kind of a metallic gloss, like glaze paint, and the color match was perfect. I got these little filigree looking hearts. I got a package of them for like 50 cents at a thrift store, but you can get them at any craft store. First, I painted them in the ballet slipper pink. And then I'm going to cover them with some really cool pink rice paper that I also got at a thrift store for like, I think I gave 25 cents for the whole package. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to take these little puff heart ornaments that I got at Walmart. I got a package of them for something like $1.98. I'm going to string the gold threads that came with them, and then I'm going to hang them at the top of the wreath using a needle. So I'll run the gold string through the needle and then through the lace on the wreath. Then I will tie a knot in the thread, and I will repeat this with the second heart. Then I took a pink ribbon that I had left from a previous project, and I tied a bow in it. Then I glued it just above the hanging hearts. Now it's time to add the cherubs. I take the ends of the ribbon and I run them through and across the cherubs. I just think it looks really cool like that. It's kind of tricky to glue them down after you've wrapped them with ribbon, but it's going to be impossible to wrap them with ribbon if you glue them on first. Unfortunately, I got this out of camera, but I glued the heart on the bottom, and I used the same flowers that I used on the bear ornament, and I glued them on the bottom as well. And then it's done. Well, wait a minute. One more thing needs to be added. Okay, to make something to hang it on, I took two of the gold threads and ran them through the needle because I want that extra strength. And then I'm going to just go underneath the metal hoop and pull the thread through. And then I'll just tie it off at the top, and it'll have something there strong enough anyway to hang it up. It just seemed a little plain, like it needed something else. So I'm taking some of this netting, and I just cut a section of it. I'm going to fold it right down the middle. I'm going to glue it, and then it'll just have this kind of veil look, like a veil. So I thought that might be kind of pretty. I actually had 3 other Valentine projects I wanted to share with you, but I'm out of time. So that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed these projects. If you did, please leave a comment, do a thumbs up, and share the video. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.